I mean, morning. Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to our International PhD Research Competency Workshop. I would like to record a special welcome for those people who are new PhD candidates, just getting on to the journey. And I think this is going to be a very exciting journey. Also, special welcome to all our staff members, many of whom are already in the MBA journey. And if there are those who are still considering your journey in MBA or PhD, your research journey, then you will find that today is going to be very enlightening. Also, special welcome to Dr. Bentley, our academic partner, long-standing partner. Yes. And he is one of the best talent managers I have seen. He has brought together the talent from as far off from Hawaii, all through Asia to Australia, and he has brought all this amazing talent in many transnational educational initiatives. Yeah, and we're very proud and happy to have him as our partner. So you know, in research methodology, there are so many ways to do it well. However, one of the objectives that we have today is to share with you, this is how we do it at Malaysia University of Science and Technology. The idea is so that if you are a person who has completed a research project from this university, then there is a certain caliber, a certain standard, a certain format, a certain way of thinking, and then we will speak with one voice, so to speak. Yeah? I think we are very fortunate that the President himself has decided to take time today to share the research methodology workshop. I don't know if you all know, he's also authored a book. He is contributing a chapter to another book on research, and he is currently submitting an article which will be again published in the Scopus journal. And if you know research, then you know Scopus is like having tea in a 5-star hotel, and something like that. So we are very fortunate that he will be able to conduct the session today. I understand that some people had two constraints. Number one, they were thinking that if you want to commit 4 days in a go might be difficult. And the other thing is, cash is always a consideration, yes. So what we have done is, we have said we'll give you a teaser today, which is free of charge. And if you want to really drill down something, then we will have a 3-day session in August. Yes. Basically, once you have already identified your area of interest, for those of you who are already on the journey, you have done that, you will need to focus your attention on that research. Of course, Prof. Prem is going to give you a lot of good ideas, but I would just like to share one thing that Steve Jobs said about focus. He said focus is not about only paying total concentration to one thing. It is the ability to look away from 100 other good ideas so that you can focus on the one good one that you're working on. Now, in your research work, you will find that sometimes when you read the work of other great people, they will pull your thoughts here and there. So I think one of the challenges you will have is to make sure that you keep all the 100 good ideas at bay while you focus on the one good one. Yes? So with that, I would like to wish you all a great conference, a great discussion today, and let's all make this great event together. Thank you.
Okay, good morning everyone. Now, our president is here. We're just about to begin the workshop. My name is Kamal Abdul from Business School of Malaysia, Malaysia University of Science and Technology. I have to be very careful because we are so used to you to call MAS. Now our president insists that we should be saying Malaysia University of Science and Technology rather than MAS. Okay. Okay, let me first welcome everyone, especially for those who are for the first time coming to the university. And this is the first ever research competency PG research competency workshop, which we'll go through for the first day today. And as Dr. Harvey mentioned earlier, there will be another 3 days in August. Let me just remind you the aims and objectives of this workshop so that we're clear and we can maximize the participation. And number one has been circulated to you anyway earlier. Number one is to bring together business researchers from different faculties, departments, and universities. And that's for me a great networking opportunity to provide a platform of peer support for PhD students and those engaged in business-related research to feedback on your own work from peers. Number three is to offer an opportunity to discuss your research work in a safe and supportive environment. Number four, to stimulate current and future work and research in the field. For the start, let me just first introduce the key persons that enable the workshop to be conducted today. Number one, of course, our president, Professor Dr. Prem Kumar is a president and is going to also be the facilitator that will take us through the workshop from 9 to 5 today. Number two, of course, Dr. Harvey. He just given his speech earlier. Dr. Harvey is actually the Dean of Business School. And of course, Dr. Reza, the person that's standing there, he is the director of the Postgraduate Center for Malaysia University of Science Technology. And of course, there are a few other individuals who have been putting up effort and time to make this event a successful session. All right, so just a little bit on the administrative side. So we're going to have this workshop in a few minutes. For the Muslim, of course, there'll be a Friday prayer, so we're going to stop at 12, and we're going to resume about 3, about 3 after the prayer. They'll take us through the end of the workshop. There are beverages, tea and coffee. You can go to have that anytime you like. At the same time, the restroom are one on the left and the other one is on the right, just in case you need to visit them. Okay. Okay. For that, in that case, okay, I will call for the presentation or facilitation by our president. Let me just read through to you his profile. Okay, Professor Dr. Prem Kumar is one of the Asia's leading business strategy and supply chain trainer and a renowned researcher with more than 20 years of hands-on experience. He obtained his doctorate of philosophy in supply chain management with University of Science of Malaysia or USM and master class BSc from Harvard University, USA. Currently, Dr. Prem is the president of Malaysia University of Science and Technology. In academia, Dr. Prem has published over 60 research papers in international journals, conference proceedings, and book chapters. A highly sought-after speaker in the field of supply chain management and business research. Dr. Prem is frequently invited speaker on SCM, the supply chain management issues, and international conference in countries like France, USA, Amsterdam, Sweden, China, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, Sudan, Riyadh, Thailand, Vietnam, and India. Prior to academia, Dr. Prem was in Intel Technology as the senior manager responsible in logistics and supply chain function. As an academician and consultant, Dr. Prem has vast experience in conducting workshops, training and consultancy programs in business researches, strategic planning, premium execution, SCM, and has contributed tremendously toward organizational effectiveness in the respective industry. With that, can I call upon Dr. Prem to present and facilitate the workshop? Dr. Prem?
So very good morning to all of you, gentlemen. Well, there are some senior guys here, senior faculty. I don't think so. I know you will accelerate your, or maybe just to be here to chip in to some of the sharings that they're going to take you through. Okay, and for those who are junior, just in the midst of contemplating or exploring your topics and so on, yes, this will be a very good session. And for those of you who are already in the midst of submitting your proposal, you will definitely benefit. 100%, that's assured. This one-day session definitely is going to support you through. Okay? And for those senior faculty members who are here, like our professor here, okay, and Dr. Harvey and Dr. Bang, and maybe if I miss someone, a few of you, okay, you will definitely be able to see some of the new topics or emerging topics that can be shared with your students, your potential candidates who are going to take up research. Okay? My background is basically about business management and specifically in supply chain management. But however, I've taken the challenge to also share with you something that has got to do with IT. I know we've got about maybe easily about 10 candidates here for PhD from IT background. So I just don't want to disappoint them. So I've done some homework to also get something, topics on discussion from IT base, so that they also feel value added in this one-day session. Let me just take you through what I have in my mind for today. Okay, it is not going to be a typical classroom environment that one way. It's not going to be a one-way direction. So what's going to happen is I'll be taking you through some of the PowerPoints, and then later we'll have a small cluster discussion. Cluster discussion, not group discussion. Cluster discussion. Now, cluster discussion here refers to we'll get the IT people into one cluster, we'll get the business people into another cluster, we'll get the logistics people into another cluster. So we'll have a cluster discussion, not a group discussion. Okay. And I'm going to give you cases. So I prepared about 7 cases. Simple case, maximum one case is only about 3/4 page. The shortest you can get is half a page. Meaning we say within maybe about 5-10 minutes, you should be able to read through the case. Now, the challenge would be, I'll take you through what is needed, and later when you read through the case, you have to identify a spot the problem definition, and you have to write up the problem definition in your own cluster. Right? So meaning to say, I take you through the session, and later on you are going to participate as though you are going to write a paper, right? And then when I go into the research objective and questions, then from the case, you also pick up and you also start to write the research objective and question. So it is going to be an interactive session. You will get to know your peers also, or maybe some of the people seated in the classroom are still your strangers. You will have the opportunity to mingle around and to understand each other's strengths Forget about the weaknesses. Huh? Each other's strength. Okay. So that's how the whole session is going to be. And being today a Friday, so our Muslim colleagues, friends, will also have to observe their prayers, Friday prayers. So what we'll do, we'll have a little bit of, extended lunch break. Okay. But however, those non-Muslim colleagues, you feel free to sit down here and have your discussion with your colleagues. And I'll be here too. I got a meeting during that time. I'll try to adjust myself and I'll be back to this forum here. And you can sit down and we can go through. But the class will only start when our colleagues come back. Okay? So, no ground rule for this session. Feel free. Dr. Reza, have you informed them about the washrooms and all? Yeah? You're fully aware of the washroom? One is by the side here, right? Okay. And feel free, if you feel that my session is boring, you want to catch a cup of tea or coffee, please feel free. Okay? You can get it to your table, but just that ensure that it doesn't spill. Okay? So, or you may want to catch the coffee over to the table where Dr. Ben is sitting. Yeah? Anyway, I want to introduce to you a fine gentleman who has been my friend for the last 15 years, Dr. Ben Lee, Dr. Ben Lee. Okay? Who's actually Malaysia Institute of Science and Technology's vital partner, key partner for us, working in international collaboration. Thank you, Dr. Ben, for being with us. Okay, so you can also catch the coffee and tea over to the place there, or over to the sofa set here and relax for a while. And then when you feel that you're okay, ready to come back and listen to my talk, please. Okay, it's not a classroom, typical classroom. Right? It's not very typical classroom. It's free for you, right? And if you find that my talk is really boring and you just have something better, important things to do, please, by all means, please, by all means, please, by all means. Huh? Nothing foresee, huh? No, we are not going to take attendance. This is totally an adult learning session. Huh? There's no attendance taken and so on. Okay. You may have a couple of things in your mind. First thing, the registration would have been taken, right? Yeah, registration. Don't worry. That is not to mark your attendance. Yeah. That is just to have you in our database. Okay, database. All right. The research competency workshop is actually for 5 days, right? But however, we are only going to have it for 1 day today, and then we'll have a follow-up session. We'll have a follow-up session. I'm planning to have it in next month, and another one in. Somewhere the next colloquium. Dr. Reza, when the next colloquium? November. So one will be in August. So if you find that you have the time, you can attend and continue the rest of the 4 days and finish up the 3 credit and earn a 3 credit paper on research methodology. Okay, so you attend 1 day, you can now get the 3 credit. So you attend today plus another 4 days. Then you will get the 3 credit on research methodology. So meaning to say, you go to any university, you are exempted from research methodology. Okay? And for those who are senior people here, who already finished your PhD, you finish today, and then the next, followed by the next 4 days, you will be certified to be a supervisor for PhD, which will support you for your teaching permit with Ministry of Education. Okay? So that is the take for this session, research competency, right? Definitely you'll be asking whether we can get the handout or not. Right? You will get the handout. Hard copies, you'll get it. You'll get the hard copies. Sorry, I have to stay back. Normally, even though I've run this class many times, many rounds, I've been doing this class for the last 10 years. Okay? But each time, I visit back my notes, I tend to spot weaknesses or areas of improvement. So I have to sit down last night to really make sure that, I get something that is really, beneficial for you. The simple reason is this. As I supervise students, I take them through the supervision process. I tend to realize that there are certain areas where students really have difficulties in understanding. So as I communicate with them, then I find that maybe this is the best way to tell them this is how they're supposed to do. So then I come back to my teaching notes and I improve my teaching notes. So that is the reason. And I don't believe in using my slides which were 10 years or last year's slides and then use it back to you again. I still remember my professor while I was doing my first time entering into first time entering into business studies. I'm a science-based guy, veterinary science. So veterinary science-based guy, then getting into the business studies class, diploma in management with MIM, Malaysia Institute of Management. So the first time in my class, the supervisor was using the what he called the foil. Those days foil, no PowerPoint. So what he did, he put his foil on the overhead projector and he was pointing, and he was reading. And I can see the foil actually got a lot of prints on it, fingerprints on it. Meaning to say that foil has been used many times. As knowledge keep on, enriched. Every day you find new knowledge has been developed, right? So we cannot be using what we know previously, maybe even yesterday. It should be for tomorrow. Okay, so that's the reason why the handout for you has been delayed. Only this morning I gave it to my PA to print it out. Okay, so you will get the latest handout. And even the case study is all 2016. I don't believe in giving you a case which is 5 years back. No, I don't. If I want to share something with you, I myself get something that's latest. So please be patient, hold on, let the PA get to you. Okay? And for that material, you will have to pay. Okay? That you will have to pay. We are not going to charge you anything for the cost, but for the material, you just pay 10 ringgit. Okay? I think it's a fair. Color print, pay the beautiful file, just pay the minimum 10 ringgit. At least that the university, not incur cost because of me. Otherwise, there's a cost for the university. Okay, I don't want that to happen. So please just pay 10 ringgit and then get a file, get your notes from the file. All right? So are we okay? Do you have any question in your mind about this one-day workshop? Any? No? If no, then let's get started. All right? Okay. By definition, yeah, you can read a lot of books on research methodology. Yeah, a lot of books on research methodology. Okay, each time you open up a new book, you'll find something new. But let us look for a common definition. A common definition of research. A common definition of research is a systematic process. You like or don't like, you have to follow what has been written. You cannot use your creativity. I'm sorry. You can be a manager or a director in a company, looking into creativity and innovation. Please don't bring that creativity and innovation into research. I'm sorry to say. This is a systematic process. Meaning to say, there is a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You cannot say, oh, can we just, avoid step 4 and go straight to step 6? No way, my dear friend. This is a systematic process. You have to follow. Now, what will happen if you don't follow? Well, you can do it for your own pleasure, reading and writing. But when you want to go for publication and you want the academic world to accept your work, they will just say, I'm sorry, your work is rejected. It's just for your own pleasure, reading and writing. So that's why it's called systematic. You have to follow. Okay? You read all the books about research methodology, you will find that the process are very well written. You have to follow the steps. Okay? That's why we call it as systematic. It's controlled. You cannot do things which is unethical in your research. You cannot ask him some question, personal question, and then reflect it in your writing. You cannot do that. You have to control it. Okay? And it's a critical investigation. An investigation meaning to say, you go to the field, you take out what is in the field, and you come out and you report. And please be reminded, students have the thought saying that, hey, I understand that case study is much more easy, or qualitative research is much more easier than quantitative. Can I do a qualitative research and make my life easy? It's thing that you feel that is easy is not easy. That is tougher. One of my students, this person, no discrimination, ladies. She's a very senior. She's holding a senior position. Okay, senior position in a company. And this person has got an experience, I think, working experience more than 25 years. Excellent. Really good. Doing the research work, she said, I'm going to do on corporate communication, strategy and corporate communication. I said, good, you start it. Then she said, I'm going to do a case study. I said, are you really ready for a case study? Yes, yes, I am. I've read a lot of articles and I think I can handle a case study. I said, you very sure? Yeah, very sure. Okay, let's try. She tried. And she tried to go for the investigation questionnaire. She put up the questionnaire. She went to the field and came back and I said, rejected. You say, why? No. Your case is a case study based on this particular company. And your questionnaire is directed to the senior guys. And if this is the methodology, then you need to go on Delphi method. So what is Delphi method? No. You want to know what is Delphi method? Delphi method got 3 rounds of questionnaire. Round 1, collect questions. Go, sit down and understand. Analyze and go back second round. Collect again data. Come back. Cross-analyze and go back again third time. Are you guys ready for that? If you are ready, then go for that. If you're not ready, don't simply commit. Might say you go for a cross-sectional study. One time you go, you collect data, come out, report, finish. Your PhD is over. Delphi is tough. So, this is what we call as critical. You must know what actually you're looking at. And then, take note of the word theory. You are guided by a theory. Why do you need to be guided by a theory? Why can't you do it by yourself? Why do you need to follow a theory? Because you are not an authority. That is the answer. You have to be guided by the theory because you are not an authority. Unless you are Michael E. Porter, Kepler, Norton, Durant, Edward Deming, then it's okay, no problem. The whole world recognizes you. Even if you say this is how things are supposed to be done, they will say, okay, good, because he's a guru. Right? But since you don't have a theory, you have to be guided by someone. Okay? Someone who has gone, walked the path, and have a very good track record, so you just follow the person. So that's why you need to have theory. In PhD, if you don't have theory, no way. You must have a theory, and the theory must be able to guide you. And don't just simply pluck from the sky theories and put and say, hey, this is my theory. But looking at the theory got no connection with your topic. Okay? And then hypothesis. If you have some hypothesis, people don't worry. Yeah? The word hypothesis means it looks as though highly scientific, but actually simple. Hypothesis means assumption that yet to be tested. Assumptions yet to be tested. Okay? About the presumed relationship among the phenomena, yes, another word, phenomena. These are all scientific words we often come across. Word. Phenomena. Phenomena is an observed situation. That's all. Okay? You're driving a car this early morning to Malaysian Institute of Science and Technology, and you find that you got stuck in the jam, and as you come close to the spot, then you realize that, hey, actually, it's nothing much. No? There was a tire on the middle of the road, and that's the reason why the jam. So that is called a phenomenon, an observed situation. Okay? Now, for an easy understanding, you take the word research and split it into 2. Re and search. Meaning to say, search means looking for something. Someone has looked for something. Maybe last year, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years ago. And now you are doing it again. Re. So that is the meaning of re and search. So by default, you like or don't like, you have to go back to literature review. That's why you research. You have to go back to literature review. And when I say literature review, it is not William Shakespeare reading the book Macbeth, Charles Dickens and all these things, okay? Literature review means what has been said in your area of interest. Okay, what has been said. So, literally the word research means do it again, looking at it again, right? So, let us look at the characteristics of research. Okay? When you say a girl, hey, this girl looks beautiful. There are certain characteristics that you claim that she's beautiful, right? Oh, she's got long hair. Right? Similarly, when you say about research, you also have characteristics. Okay? What research means. Number one is directed to solve a problem. A research should be solving a problem. Now, take note. There's certain concepts in research. And when you see the word problem, don't look at it from the direct meaning of problem. In research, when someone says problem, it's not necessarily to be a problem. Okay? It can be in research, when you say problem, it can be a gap that you are trying to identify and fill up the gap. What is a gap? A gap is a deviation. This is what you want, but some or other you're not getting this, you're going here. So there's a gap between what you want and what is happening, right? So your research is going to close this gap. You're trying to close the gap. So when you say problem in research, it can be a gap. And second, in research, it can be a opportunity. It can be an opportunity that you are trying to investigate. Okay? So it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity that you are trying to look at. But when you are writing your paper, you cannot say, oh, the opportunity statement in this study. Cannot. You have to write it, the problem statement in this study. Don't ask me why. I told you, this is a systematic process. You want a question? Go and question Zygmunt. Go and question Umar Sekran. Go and question Cooper. All these Belron, all these guys, the gurus of research, right? So you have to understand. When we write the paper, we put it as problem or problem. But actually, we are trying to investigate an opportunity. The third one is you are trying to study a phenomenon. You are trying to study a phenomenon. Oh, what is a phenomenon? An observation. Right? Today you find bioinformatics is really advancing. So there is a merger between information technology and medical science. There's a fusion between information technology and medical science. These two disciplines are coming together and they're solving the problem, healthcare problem. Information technology and medical disciplines are coming together to solve a medical problem. So this is a phenomena that you are addressing. You're not trying to discover something new, but you are addressing a phenomenon. So when we talk about a problem in research, it can be addressing a gap, it can be highlighting an opportunity, or it can be discussing about a. So now you should know what is your focus. What are the areas that you're looking at? Are you looking at gap, opportunity, or a? But when you write your article, when you write your paper, You cannot say, I am studying a phenomena. You have to write the problem statement of this paper is actually to address blah, 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 and so on. Okay? And you cannot write, oh, this paper is looking at an opportunity. You still have to say the problem statement in this paper, or in this study, okay, in this research. Okay? So, it is directed to solve a problem. Number 2, generate generalization. A research should be empirical, and it is not specific solving a particular issue. It should be generalized. Meaning to say, if you do a research in Malaysia about humanitarian supply chain, okay, during disasters, humanitarian supply chain, you are doing a study on that. Your outcomes, your finding should be applicable in Philippines or in China to a certain extent. Not 100%, to a certain extent, it should be applicable. And that's what you call generalization. And that is the reason why when you are analyzing your data, your model fit, R-square model fit, okay, you cannot get 100%. If you get 30, 40%, 50% model fit, R-square, you consider, okay, good. What is the meaning of that? Meaning to say that whatever your outcome can be applied elsewhere. That model is fit. It can be applied. Of course, there are other things, the delimitations which you have not covered, right? Those are the 60%. The 40% and 30% can be applied. So research should be generalization. Okay. It's based upon observable experience and empirical evidence. Now, whatever you're going to write in your research, there must be evidence. What evidence is the instrument that you use? The questionnaire that you use is an evidence. The primary data that you collect is an evidence. The observations that you make are evidence. Okay, so you need to have evidence. And empirical means going through the proper process of the methodology of trying to get out the finding. Okay, that is empirical. It demands accurate observation and description. When you make observation, you need to have the observation to be accurate. That's the reason why we have to use statistical analysis. And there are a lot of process. I will not be taking you through today's class, no way. That is totally a separate chapter by itself. Okay, but just to tell you, to get an accurate information, you have to run the statistical analysis. Okay, and that's called inferential statistics. Okay, and you have to be describing it well. You have descriptive analysis and inferential analysis. And it involves gathering new data. You have to go as a PhD holder, writing your paper, you have to get new data. You cannot talk about old data. You have to go and collect new data. Okay, what your colleagues have collected 2 years ago may differ from what you are collecting today. You have to get new data, and new data in research, you call it as primary source of data. The old data are called secondary data. Okay. It's a systematic and applied rigorous analysis. Yes, you simply just cannot straight away go and do an analysis and say, hey, I already got my answer already. Yeah? Sometimes funny. Yeah? Students, they write up their statistical analysis. They never run factor. They never run reliability. Never run multicollinearity. Suddenly you see regression analysis answer coming out. I wonder how they do it. Maybe they have outsourced that part of the job to a statistician. And the statistician doesn't know what is actually this guy is trying to analyze. So he just give you the last final output and say, this is your regression, this is your model, that's it, finished. But when we question the student whether is there any relationship between the independent variables, the answer is simply, I don't know. Okay. We are not expecting students, PhD students, to become a statistician. No, I myself, I'm not a statistician. No way. But at least for the purpose of writing a paper and understanding the outcome, I should be able to interpret the outcome. Interpretation is important. We're not asking you what is the formula for calculating the sample size, this and that. That was 10 years ago. You know, calculating the sample size, blah, 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 putting the formula and showing it. Okay, that is 10 years ago. People don't waste time. Straight away they say, oh, report to Krajewski and Morgan 1970. That's it, the table recommended. 1,000 population, the sample size is 283. Done deal. Or you go, Uma Sekran say, for a population of 100, you need to have minimum 30 to 60. Finish, done deal. At least you should be able to justify. They are not expecting you to become like statistician to make calculation this and that. Many students phobia, the moment they see numbers, they cannot. Oh, it's too much for me. Okay, too many numbers for me. Don't worry, simple. Huh? Okay. Next, it requires a little bit of expertise, but the risk is also there. You know? When you're working in one specific functional area in the organization for many years, you tend to feel that you are an expert. You tend to feel that you're an expert. Oh, I know everything. So what I'm saying is right. No, my dear friend. Yes, you know everything. You got 20 years of experience in the same field. Yes, but don't forget, it is only in that particular sector or industry. And that doesn't mean that your expertise can be repeated in other industries. It is very industry specific. That's why normally when we supervise students, to supervise a fresh student is much more easier than supervising an experienced. It's not that I'm saying that the students are, tough people, but it's just that because of their experience, number of years of experience and exposure, they tend to feel that, hey, this is what I've done. This is how I solve the problem in my industry. Now why is my supervisor saying no? Okay, this is what will happen. Okay, but please, understand that supervisor, they're just doing the duty. They just want to make sure that you get through the paper well. So that when you go for your Viva, you don't get stuck. Because in the Viva, you cannot go and say, oh, based on my experience, as being the director of the company, this is what I find that. The moment you say, I find, I feel, I think, you are totally out from the Viva. Don't ever use the word I think, I find, I feel. All those things you can keep it back at your company. I find, I feel, I think, it's not in Viva. About 4 months ago, I attended an examination for Viva in University Malaya. The student is from Singapore and he is holding a vice president position in supply chain. Multinational corporation. Big company. And he presented, he defended his Viva. I know he's going to have tough time, this guy. Because in his chapter 5, recommendation, what he has written is, it's all based on his own experience, rather than the outcome of from the findings in chapter 4. He has not correlated back to the finding in chapter 4, as though the chapter 5 is a standalone by itself. Basically, his own thoughts. And of course, in Viva, normally they don't want to face student. So he has got a major correction. Major correction meaning to say you pass roughly about 2 months. Major correction. Minimum 6 months to do the correction. So that is the problem. Okay? So please. Now let us go. The importance of research, yes, there are a lot of the people who can benefit from research, student, industry, the government, policy makers, what we call bodies, professional bodies, all these are the people who can benefit from it. Okay? Now, quality of a good research. For a good research, I just put it here, RESERCH. It's research oriented, systematically done, efficient, meaning to say your usage of time, resources, good, you have not wasted anything, scientific process, it must be effective. When you take it out, someone must benefit and should be able to solve some of the problems. Active, very current, timely, resourceful. Yes, in some of these they find something new has been addressed, new knowledge has been driven. Creative in answering to the question, not creative in the process. And honest. Being honest. Yes, during my time when I was doing my PhD, there is no plagiarism check on. But that doesn't mean during my time it was so easy. It was tough because no internet, right? It was tough. I had to go to the library and sit down and write all the literature one by one. Come back and write. So nowadays you go to the internet, you can copy and paste. The latest technology, CNP technology, copy and paste technology is there, right? CNP technology, just that's so they can Google. Well, you don't need to use mouse already. All the figure. Very fast, done deal. Okay? But then the risk is there is plagiarism check. Turnitin is there. And then there's one more software, better software. Plus scan. Okay? So please don't get into that. But for me, if I'm looking at the plagiarism check, normally I'm fair to the student. I will go a little bit detailed and I will look at the similarity index. I will not penalize students just looking at, 35% plagiarism, the student is not good. I'll go detailed. I will try to understand the 35% is contributed from where. Looking at the similarity index, especially for those supervisors seated here, PhD guys, please be fair to the student. If you find the percentage of similarity, the plagiarism is high, go do your homework. Next level, look at the similarity index and see where the components. Maybe you'll find 10% is coming from another PhD student research work. Go and see, explore. Why not? Then you'll find the student has done a real work. It's not that the student has copied. It's real work. Okay. So we shouldn't simply penalize students. For me, that's my take. And sometimes I have arguments with some universities. And they say, this one, why you pass the student got similarity index very high on plagiarism. I said, I did that. I go to the next level to see the index, similarity index. You have to go back to that. If the students, for example, in class, if 10 of you, I give you a case study, all the 10 of you study about Toyota and write an assignment. I take a bet, all of you will get plagiarism similarity index very high. Yeah, it's true, right? Because one case only is studying well. So for those of you who are lecturers, please, when you mark your assignment paper for a student, be fair to them. Don't just use this tool. So far, this what you call Turnitin is the only tool that's available in the market. So all universities are trusting on it. So good that we move away from Turnitin. We don't use Turnitin in Malaysian Institute of Science. We use another one, plus scan, a better software. Now, the type of research that we embark, the type, one is the exploratory research. We explore, that is undertaken with the aim of clarifying ambiguous problems. We are not very sure why this is happening. We want to explore and see, is there anything that we can come up with? We can propose something, For example, people are talking about, customer care or health care. Now, look at it. This is interesting. Healthcare economics. You come across the word healthcare economics. Many of us we visit clinics, hospitals, and when we meet up with the doctor, and the doctor said, "Hey, Olivia, you have to really go through 2 days full medical checkup in the hospital. Something is not really right with your body system." You believe the doctor. You think the doctor is like, you respect him like God. Yes, doctor. You walk out from his room, psychologically you will be disturbed. Immediately you call your spouse and say, "Hey, I visit the doctor. Doctor said, I need to be warded for 2 days full checkup." Why? I really don't know. I also feel very, psychologically disturbed. You trust the doctor like a god. So what happened? Private doctors, each time they cut you, right? 1 inch, 10,000. If the operation is extended to 2 inch, wow, opportunity for 50,000. Okay, so because of that, today you find in the medical field, they are exploring health economics. Health economics. Good established private hospitals, they have a department, and the person in charge of the department is actually a person who has got a mixed discipline with medical discipline as well as economics discipline. Meaning to say, he will be able to make a judgment between the option 1 and option 2 and option 3 available. Instead of going for a surgery, example, personally I had this. I had a small boil at the back, small boil. And I was looking at it, rubbing at it, and it was disturbing me for some time. Then, I told my wife said, I think why don't you go to clinic? Then I asked my friend said, you need to go to clinic, like, just relax. After that, the boil will burst and everything is okay. So, I went to clinic. The doctor looked at it and he said, oh, this one, you have to go for a minor surgery. I said, how big the surgery? No, don't worry. It's about only, 1/3 of an inch. Oh, very good, fine. So, all over within a day? Oh, within a few hours. Put me into the surgery room and then took me for not a local anesthesia, it was a general anesthesia. And then the cut was not 1/3 of an inch, it was almost 1 inch. And when I asked, the justification after 2 days only I was up on the bed. And I asked, the guy said, no, because there was a root. It went very deep, so we have to go inside and find the root and take it out. Because there's no second opinion, right? So that is what now in the medical world you have the health economics now. So that is an emerging thing, right? So it's an emerging. So you want to really go into that emerging thing and come up with a problem. So now, because of the health economic research that has been conducted now, if you are going to a private medical hospital, you want to ask them, hey, do you have a health economics here? If there is, you feel happy. Because the guy is unbiased. He's unbiased and he'll give you option 1, option 2. You are a medical doctor, you should know that, right? Yep. Yeah, she's a medical doctor, owning a private clinic. So don't be offended at what I say. So, general problems usually known but not sufficiently understood. You know what is happening, but really you don't know what is that. Like for example, when I was working in Intel for the first time, entering into logistics department in 1996, it was like, people say logistics, and then I asked my friend, what is logistics? My friend said, hey, logistics means warehouse, Meaning to say what? Hey, gudang lah, you kerja kat gudang. He said. And the concept, perception of gudang means like you are like outbound already, Then the whole logistics phenomena changed. Second party, third party, then now fourth party. Now someone talking about fifth party logistics. I don't know where the hell they got the fifth party from. Okay, so you heard about it, but you want to understand it better. You heard about it, but you want to understand it better. How does it work? The purpose is to get more information, not to uncover specific costs. You're not going to uncover specific costs. That's why I say research for PhD level, it is supposed to be empirical evidence and the outcome is generalized, not specific. Specific is that which you do after your PhD. Specifically, you're addressing an issue in the industry. Very specific, you're addressing an issue. You want to come up with a solution, that is very specific. But PhD level, it is very generalized. Okay? So, determining a specific course of action to follow, not a purpose or expert research. Example, child care support program for employees. Okay? Child care program specifically for employees, not for outside. Okay? Like in Intel, they had a child care program in Intel itself. So, very specific for only people working in Intel. Now, the second one is the descriptive. Tan, you may want to pass on those. Okay? Let Edwin pass you the handout. So please, SS, you may want help. Yeah. At least then you can write something as I'm taking you through. Edwin, you know how many pages and all? You just want to tell them that whether they have the sufficient pages? So the file is also just readily out from the owl. It's coming out from the owl. Okay. So case, you will have how many case? 6, 7 case? 7 case. Huh? I think 3 IT case, 2 logistics, and then another 2 is business case. 7 case. Okay? Right? Don't worry, another 5-10 minutes, I'll give you a break for coffee. Okay? Okay, now the second type of research is descriptive. Descriptive research are basically like you're trying to describe a phenomena, what is happening and so on. For example, usage of online banking. Online banking, right? Now, online banking has been introduced to the market, maybe 10, 15 years ago. But what is the take today in online banking? Why isn't consumers having the trust on online banking? Why are they still, some people still want to go for, ATM machine and all, do the transfer? If they're not going to the bank, they go to the ATM machine and doing the transfer. Why aren't they using 100% online? Okay, so that's a phenomenon that we study. So you want to describe what is actually happening. So that's called descriptive. Undertaken with the aim of determining the characteristics of the population. So you study the population, then you realize that, oh, okay, people like Prem and all, who's only 60 years old, oh no, he's not interested in online banking. Yeah, people like me, 60 years old, I'm not interested in online banking. Oh, maybe this gentleman over here, 20 plus, why? He's interested in online banking. Maybe the lady over here, 30 plus. Sister, you're 30 plus, right? Never ask a lady the age, and never ask a man the weight. You agree with me? It's okay that he's 60, right? But he still looks down. 40 plus. Now, that is just to see that you guys are still with me. Okay, so that is about the characteristics. So when we analyze, then we realize that people of different age category have got different preference on online banking, and not only age, also people of different what we call job nature. Okay, and then if we do the same research in developing country or countries which are still struggling and so on, then you will find that because of no access to internet, they don't use online banking. So that is called descriptive type of research. Okay. So example, who are the the main consumers for organic foods? Yeah, organic food has been introduced to the market many years ago, right? But how many of us, when we go to the hypermarket, we are still looking for organic food? Even though everyone certify, we all say, oh, you can live until 100 years old if you take organic food. But some or other, we Malaysians, sorry, international participants, we Malaysians, we still want to go for the teh tarik, we still want to go for the roti canai, nasi lemak, and so on. Okay, that is the Malaysian flavor. No way we can escape from there. Janaka, sorry, for Malaysians, it's common. Even I come to Sri Lanka, I'll be looking for my tea. And you say, no, this is the tea, I say milk tea. Okay, so how many students read the prescribed course literature? Where do most holiday makers travel overseas? Go. Where do they go? When do petrol stations tend to raise their price? So these are all called descriptive type of research. Okay. Now the third one is causal. What is causal? Causal is undertaken with the aim to identify cause and effect relationship among variables. Cause and effect relationship. For example, leadership style. Yeah. Towards employee motivation. Anyway, that's the most easiest research to do. Don't waste your time and don't waste your supervisor's time. If you're doing it at the MBA level, I say, okay, we can accept it. And some students come and talk, oh, my thesis I'm doing is very tough. What's your title? Oh, I'm doing on motivation. Who cares about motivation nowadays? If you're motivated, you work. If you're not motivated, that's the door. You can go. Nobody stops you, right? Did anybody lock you inside the room? No one locks you in the room. If you're not motivated to work, please, by all means. So don't waste your time talking about motivation and talking about, the hierarchical needs of Abraham Maslow's theory. I don't know, Abraham Maslow, those times when he wrote the theory, he said, yes, self-actualization. And if you take the theory and you look at the monks in the Buddha temple and all, they are already self-actualization. You agree with me? So don't waste your time on talking about motivation. But anyway, for the discussion purpose, there's a relationship, strong relationship between leadership style and employee motivation. If the leader has got a leadership style of autocratic style, what will be the motivation of the employee? Versus the leader who has got a participating style, like a parent who treats his employee. The motivation is different. Versus a leader who is transformational. Versus a leader who is transactional towards employee motivation. So here we are trying to study the relationship between the cause and the. We are studying the cause and the. Okay, so that is called causal. Okay. Now, having said about the research characteristics and the type of research, now let us look at the process. I told you it is a systematic step-by-step process, right? So now let's look at the process, what we need to do. At a very high level, we have to look into the problem. That is the first one. In public university setting, let me share with you my experience. You will be sitting down with the supervisor and thinking and cracking for 1 year, still you will be talking about the problem. You still cannot finish. You'll be still thinking, what's the problem statement? Each time you write, you take. No, you're still not addressing the problem. I don't read the problem here. I don't understand the problem here. Okay? Let's not go into the details of why. Okay? But that is the common phenomenon. Okay? So what is important for research is trying to get the problem first. Discovery. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Is it a gap? Is it an opportunity? Is it a phenomenon that you're trying to address? Now, once you get that perfect, you're done. Don't worry. The rest falls. Easy sale for you. But if you don't get that, you have to go back again and again. And this is where the motivation, the percentage of dropout of PhD students in the year 1 is very high. Because of this. The percentage of dropout students for PhD students in year 1 is high compared to when they already moved into the year 2, year 3. Because of this problem statement. Trying to discover the problem in your research. Okay, so this is important. Try to get this up within 6 months. Firmly up. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to change anything. This is my problem statement. This is what I'm going to study. That's it. I already fixed my mind. And it is the gap, or it's opportunity, or it's a phenomena that I'm trying to address. Okay? So the case study I've given you, the 7th case, is all about that. The situation I give you, and you are going to write the problem statement. I just give you the situation from the case. And you are going to explore the problem statement. Because me personally, I find this is where students really have the difficulty. They really have difficulties in identifying the problem. Even the IT-based exploration research, same. I've given you 3 case studies, you can see. That's the problem. So that's the first stage. So once you get over with this, I would say that 30% of your PhD research work is almost over. You need not worry. Okay? Then the research technique, very easy. You sit down with your researcher, your supervisor, you determine there are only 3 types: descriptive, explorative, or causal. Very simple. Straightforward. By reading the problem statement, your supervisor will advise you, hey, yours is an explorative. Yours is a descriptive, because you're trying to describe, the number of people using online. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yours is a causal, because you're studying the relationship. Yeah? The GST implementation and the consumer behavior. The cause and effect, right? So, it's very easy. This is very easy. Okay? Then the 3rd stage comes in. The 3rd stage comes in. Now, there are some universities that claim that if you have the research objectives is okay, or research question is okay, you don't need to have both. Some universities say you have research objective is okay, or you get your research question is okay already. But my recommendation to you, if you're going to make your paper to be internationally recognized, follow the systematic process that has been written by all those great authors of research. That is, have your research objective as well as your research questions. Why are you only looking specifically into, within this, field? Go beyond. You want your paper, you spend so much of your, time and money. So you make sure your paper is internationally recognized. So in order to get it internationally recognized, you go get through the right process. That is objectives and then followed by questions. And I'll teach you a simple technique later on. Very simple technique, how to write objective, how to write questions. You just have to follow the technique, that's it. Within 10 minutes, you're done. And then also students will have tough time. Sitting down with the supervisor, going through multiple discussion. Oh, your objective 1 is not right. Your objective 3 is not correlating with your question. There's a simple technique. Objective 1 will have to correlate with question number 1. Objective number 2 will have to correlate with question number 2. Objective 3 must relate to question 3. So if you have 5 objectives, you have 5 questions. How come you have 5 questions, 5 objectives, but you have question 6? Where the 6th guy came in? That should not be the way. 5 means 5, 6 means 6. So it's a simple formula. You follow through. It makes your life easy. So that's the next stage. Then your methods. What method are you going to apply? What methodology? Okay, there are a lot of methods, right? Okay, I'll take you through later on, talking about the methods. Okay. So from there, then after the method, then you look into your instrument. I call this as the instrument. Your questionnaire tools and all these things, I call it as an instrument. You validate the instrument, then you determine a sample size, your population, samples, and then you go. Now this is the whole process. But today, as far as the workshop is concerned today, I'm not going to discuss all these things. I'll only stop at limitation and delimitation and significance. Okay? As I say, this workshop just cannot finish just within 1 day. Okay? It is 5 days, so we'll go only for 1 day session. Now, let's take a break. It's 10:35. Let's take about 15 minutes break and then we can. Okay? A bio break for those who if you want to go washroom, it's just on the right. Right, Bob?
Hi Sarah, I don't see Rita. I don't see Rita. I discovered very cool. Just shifted a little bit.
Actually, I wanted to say one was speaking because we could see the laptop, but then it would be like disrupting
Because also
or
other-
disturbing the space. So I wanted to wait for the break.
Other students are joining from streamline stream like
Like last time.
800. How is it now?
No, actually, it depends on how much he should walk. He shouldn't walk too close. He should stop there only with the first table. When the one more seven, see now. You shouldn't come before that. Then your face will get until the first stroke. That's why.
Chair here maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking, but then the chair will be shown, right? Yeah, if you put a chair there, then it will be seen. No, it will be seen. Oh no. No. No, if you sit down, you will see. The chair is not seen. We can put this chair in the front.
I have this chair, but maybe someone has to sit. Not let them sit.
We can put this box in there. சொல்லுங்க இங்க நில்லுங்க கரெக்டா தெரியுதான்னு பாக்குறேன் சீரியஸா யூடியூப்ல வருவீங்க அப்புறம் நம்ம பார்க்கலாம் நிஜமா இது லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமிங்ல போயிட்டு அங்க நில்லுங்க அந்த பாக்ஸ் அங்க நல்லா தெரியும்
Recently, whenever we came first, recently we changed our category because initially we in PhD management because our background is IT. We changed now. Now he's also sit down. We both working at the same time. People can between us. Another bank. I discussed with sir also yesterday regarding our problem situation, research
थोड़ी देर बाद भी काट जाएगा तो सही
working here. You are working.
I was working as a intelligence doctor. I was having
Okay. So that's the boundary. So if I tell you, it's okay.
So you are
Yeah.
That's the boundary, yeah? Okay, great.
I'm from
India. And you are working here.
The boundary, you don't have a problem.
Oh,
You don't ever get closer to peace. Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue your session. Yeah. Is it very cold? Straight, correct. So, now I'm going to discuss about the choice of topic. Okay. How do you make a choice on the topic that you're going to take? When you meet up with the supervisor, supervisor asks you, what's the choice of the topic? Normally what students say is, they say the functional area. So I'm working in blah blah blah. So I think my topic will be on embedded solution or networking, cloud computing because I'm working there, or construction, or marketing, digital marketing, Oliver. So what actually the students are saying is they are only sharing about the area of interest, and it is more towards functions. Okay. So what a supervisor is interested in is the supervisor is interested in to know, the choice of the research topic that you're going to embark on. Has that got something to do with not only you yourself, but also to the knowledge, the body of knowledge, that is the academic world? Because he's a supervisor, he's a professor, or he's an academician. He also wants to know whether the area that you are embarking on has got something to do to add on to the body of knowledge. And number two, he also wants to know that at the end of the day, your outcome, will it help someone? Is it going to be a help for the industry? Or is it going to help managers in making decisions? Or is it going to help the government in making public policies? Or is it going to help some professional bodies looking into the way of scoping their function? So that's what your supervisor is interested in. But you are interested in the functional side of it. But your supervisor is looking beyond that. So in order to make your life and your supervisor's life easy, so you have to go through this process and tell, well, my research is going to be something novel. Meaning to say, I'm going to contribute something. Okay? And this is going to be something new that I'm going to investigate. That is about to say, is it totally new? Yes, totally new. If it is not totally new, that's okay. If you want to adopt, then it is wrong. But you can adapt. Again, I repeat. If you want to adopt, it is wrong. But if you say you want to adapt, it's okay. That's the difference. Huh? Adopt means 100% taking from him and then putting it, claiming that it's yours. Sorry, Miss Priti, I crossed the boundary. Miss Priti put up the adapter here and she said, don't cross the boundary. So adopt means taking somebody's work and then you copy exactly. That's called adopt. This is not right. You can adapt. You take his work, you do the research, but you change the methodology. You change the respondents. You change the data collection. You change the instrument. You change the demography where you're going to look at the population. You change the sample. That's called adapt. You take and you modify. That is okay, but not adopt. You take 100% somebody's work and then you claim it's yours. Oh no. Maybe at master's level you can escape, professor. Master's level you can escape. Okay? So I can't escape no way. Because you have to have some novelty. Here it means original. It must be your piece of work. Because PhD is to put you as an expert. Okay? So that's the first one. The second one is, of course, the topic that you're going to investigate must also be interesting. It cannot be something that's boring that nobody wants to listen, nobody wants to look at it, nobody wants to read. No, that's not the way. It must be also something that is of interest. You talk about organization and you say, oh, my topic is going to be on organizational development. Hey, come on. Organizational development was done when I was doing my MBA in 1996. And now you want to talk organizational development? Nobody wants to listen to you. You talk something else. You talk something else. Within organizational development, there are certain new areas that have been, designed. So talk about it. So it must be interesting. Interesting not only for you. It must be also interesting for the people who are going to read your work. The third one is relevant. The body of knowledge has already evolved. What you are going to take up from your research must be at the age. It must be at the cutting edge. It must be a cutting edge knowledge. Then like how Craig Barrett, the CEO of Intel, claims, your technology must be a cutting edge technology. So your knowledge that you're going to take out must be of cutting edge. That means latest. And it will be good if you come up with some words. End of the day, you present it to the business community or your IT community. That is good. Okay, so it must be relevant. The fourth one is feasible. Don't come up with a research topic like, as though shooting a rocket to the Mars or shooting a rocket to the science, to the sun. It just seems impossible, right? It's not feasible. Or you come up with a research and then you talk about, I want to go find out this. I want to go, my questionnaire will be sent to this group of people, all the ministries, all the ministers. I want to send questionnaire, to the minister. Please say minister got time to respond to you. It's not feasible. It's nice, but it's not feasible, not doable. Okay? Take up something that is doable. And fifth is researchable. What is researchable? If today you do something, you investigate something, tomorrow another student comes in and then he wants to expand from your research, it is doable. So that's what called researchable. It must be something that is, continuously can be something that can be improved. Okay? And also ethical. Ethical means you have to abide by the customary law, the legal aspect, and all. Not infringing into people's rights, not getting into people's areas where people are sensitive of. Shouldn't do that. It must be ethical. So normally in medical research, you have to go through an ethical committee. Ethical committee. Your proposal has to go through ethical committee. But in business studies, you don't need to go through ethical committee. But your proposal defense, during your proposal defense, the committee who approves your proposal defense will have to consider this ethical. Okay? For medical, they have to go through ethical committee. And it's not easy. Yeah? It's not easy. It's tough. One of my students did a study on healthcare economics, and he was doing with the Hertfordshire University, and he has to go through ethical committee. Okay, even though it's health economics, more towards business, but he has to go through the ethical committee for clearance. Okay, so it's not easy. And they'll ask you your respondents and all. Okay. So that is the choice of research topic. Okay. So you have to go through that. If you understand the choice of your research topic, then when you go to your supervisor, it makes your life of your supervisor and yourself also easy. You don't need to go repeatedly again and see your supervisor. You can use the choice of words that I've given you here. When you write an email to your supervisor, you can specifically quote, say, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I'm looking at. It makes your life, your supervisor life, both easy, no problem. Okay? Now let us explore some of the areas, okay, that is doable for you, that is novel for you, that is researchable for you. Okay, the choice. So what I've done is I've done some homework. I got into the Forbes magazine. Forbes is one of the best magazines for business studies, right? and I looked into some of the latest areas of research for IT. Since we got a lot of people here IT related guys, right? So I've explored that and I brought out some topics for you. Okay? Good that I sorted out this, and then I realized that hey, these areas are really interesting. And I'm looking at a cross discipline. I myself sometimes when I go through all these topics, I get interested. It's just that I'm doing this administrative job, otherwise I'll become a good researcher, sitting down and doing research. And that is really nice, because you don't disturb anyone, and then, you peacefully sit down and do your work, and you expand your knowledge without disturbing. But unfortunately, when you take up administrative job, balancing between administrative job. So these 13 topics are really good, latest, and it's from Forbes magazine. For those IT guys, you can always quote. I'll give you. I think I brought the article. Yeah, it's from Forbes magazine. You want the article for those IT guys? You ask me, I'll give you. Okay, the areas of IT related, which is really hot. You say that. 13 of the 2015 hottest topic in computer science research. Okay, it's Forbes magazine. Okay. Now they talk about abundant data application, algorithm, and architecture, and artificial intelligence and robotics. It's all coming under IT. Bioinformatics, I think this is one area. I know some of you are already working on it, bioinformatics, and I feel that this is very promising for IT people because the industry that will continue to be in existence, it will never die, is human medical. As long as human beings are there, they will spend money for medical. Yeah. The second one is food industrial, and the third one is education. Where you guys are, okay? So, bioinformatics, really beautiful. You can really help a lot, okay? Computer-assisted education, yes. Today you find that those people who have the computer background, they come out with all those latest things. It's not just e-learning, blended learning, and so on. Today I find a new word, M-learning. Mobile learning. I was looking at this word, mobile learning. Wow, interesting. Actually, it's nothing. Just with all the gadgets and all, you walk around and then you learn with your gadgets.
Blended learning.
Blended learning. And we came out with a new jargon, hybrid learning. Yeah, we also need to confuse the world a little bit, right? They confuse us so much. So let us also a little bit confuse them. Right? So I came out with a new word. I said hybrid learning. Simple, because my background is science. Red science, when you cross one breed with another breed of the same species, you call hybrid, right? So the traditional classroom versus the electronic classroom, so I cross it, so it becomes hybrid learning. So what's wrong? Will anybody say I'm wrong? No one will say that. It's just that I need to publish on paper, hybrid learning, and everybody will follow through and say, yes, hybrid learning. So maybe Tarakat, he can come up with something, hybrid learning. Anyway, our recent MBA that we have just designed, our professional MBA is a hybrid learning MBA. Yeah? We have just designed and we already got approval from the Ministry of Higher Education and also NQA. We are going to launch it next month, our MBA, which is called professional MBA, which is actually a hybrid model. First to be the first in Malaysia. Okay? We have just done all the homework done, everything. And we are just in the final stage of designing our brochures, which will be ready by another Tuesday or tomorrow. And we'll take it out. So that is purely a hybrid learning. Okay? It's a cross between the traditional learning. Right? So that's computer-assisted education. And then you have database, data center, information retrieval, and natural language processing. This is another area. And emerging technologies for computer hardware communication sensing. One thing good is next week we have the colloquium. And we have invited one industry speaker. Very high profile man, a close friend of mine, Professor Suresh Puran from USM. He's no more with USM. And he's going to join Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Okay? And we are going to endorse his CV today in our Senate. Okay? He won the Toko Anugerah Negara in 2008 from the King and 2010. And he is the inventor of IPv6 for the whole world. Invented Internet Protocol version 6. Okay, so he's going to give an industry talk on Wednesday 2 p.m. Okay, so please, those of you who are free, it's really worth listening to what he's got to say. He's really a genius, intelligent guy. He has got 14 books written, 9 patented, and 94 international publications, journal publications. I was amazed to read his CV yesterday because I think, actually, can you forward your CV? I want to take it to Senate. So he forwarded to me his CV. I read his CV, bro. Oh my God. And he was the youngest professor in Malaysia in public. At the age of 30 plus, he was already a full professor. Okay? A genius, intelligent guy. So he's joining our university. Okay, so those PhD in IT, so you can always go back to him and ask him for your advice. And I'm very sure he'll help you. He's my friend. No problem. Okay, he's a nice guy. I know him very well. Okay? So he's joining us. Okay? So there is the added value for you guys. Yeah. And also I talked to him that, I said to some of my PhD students, IT PhD students would like to visit your lab. He said, by all means, let me know. And you can visit his lab. He's got his own lab, IPv6 lab. He's got a lot of grants, grants from Japan, Germany, and all. Okay, international grants he's got. And he brought in a grant for USM, almost $10 billion grant for USM. So it's really good. So for our IT graduates, PhD holders, no problem now. You have two, Prof. Sam from University Malaya, and then Prof. Suresh from USM. Okay, so you can talk to him all these things. He'll be happy to take you. I told him you better guide my students. He said no problem. Because he already got a lot of students, PhD students with him, and definitely he also help us. Again, large scale networking. I think this is where right now Prof. Suresh is working on mobile app, what we call student portal and learning management system. And he's going to give it to us to run the pilot. He's going to test it out with our university as a pilot and no cost. But to outside market, that will cost about, is there about 300,000 to 400,000. So it's going to give it to us and generate money. Okay. And the other one is limits of computation, multimedia. It's all computer related topics that you can explore. Okay. Now let us look at hot business topic 2016. For those PhD students, potential PhD students, you may want to explore these topics. These are hot 2016. Okay, latest, what people are looking at. It is not difficult for a system to remind managers that they need to review or appraise members of their team. The current statistic shows that 65% of employees don't fully trust their manager. Is it true? 60%, 65% employees don't trust their management. Wow, this is risky, man, for me. As the CEO of the company, if people don't trust me, that is risky. Can I have a pulse check? Can I have a pulse check? You guys trust me or not? My people, do you trust me? Yeah. Thank you, thank you. So, this is another area that you really need to seriously look into, And the word is employee engagement. Yeah. And people are serious about this, especially with the younger generation people. They keep on hopping jobs and so on. They don't have the loyalty. They don't trust the management. They just keep on moving. Yeah. So these are serious issues that you can explore. The other one is encouraging leadership over management. There's always a debate between leadership and management. A lot of theories, a lot of discussion has happened. You want a manager or you want a leader? So that's the difference. So this is another area. But of course, don't go back to the fundamental and say, oh, leaders mean this, management mean this. People are tired of all those things. Come up with something new. You already have transformation, transactional, participative, autocratic, laissez-faire, all these type of leadership styles you already have. Come up with something new. Okay? The millennial leader, or something like that, something new. and explore what does it take for a leader to be in this century. Maybe it is not transformational, maybe it's beyond that. Okay? It's not even charismatic leader, but beyond that. For business, I'm talking about business, not politics. Huh? For business, what type of leadership really you need for business? Okay? Or knowledge-based leader, I don't know. Okay? Business case for diversity and true inclusion. Right now I'm having a student talking about gender. Leadership and gender in Malaysian environment. I hope that she can come out someday. So, companies that see beyond the old model of profit and traditional team creation, that is the what we call the fundamental of any company looking into the economic model, that is profit, that is common, right? But see greater levels of inclusion within their organization as a key level to drive innovation. So they're going beyond that, okay, to drive innovation. The other one is working agile, embracing change and adapting effectively. Agile. We talked about agile business process. We talked about agility, flexibility. Now we're talking about agile. Okay, people who are agile. We need to say they are willing to take changes. We need to go through the transformation. For this, very easy. You can use Kurt Lewin's theory of change. Kurt Lewin's theory is the father of change. Okay, so you can use his theory. Transparency and governance is another hot topic for Malaysia. You can look at it again. What is governance practice? So we have the Malaysian Code of Conduct. Malaysian Code of Corporate Governance, 2012, right? Yeah, MCCG 2012. So what has been written? All their guidelines. Okay. There are 8 guidelines given in the Code of Conduct, right? So how do you go about the Code of Conduct? The corporate governance. What is important? Where is the weightage? Roles and responsibility of board of directors, which has evolved, which goes beyond the reporting structure, right? So this is interesting to study. How is the corporate governance practice in the private sector? Forget about the public sector. Let's talk about the private sector. It is the sector that makes money, right? So how the corporate governance practice is coming in? How stringent? How people are transparent? To what extent they are transparent? The board of directors, are they really transparent? If they made a screw up in the business, will they come up and say in their reports, hey, we screwed up, man, for 2015, we lost $15 million. Will they come up and say that? Or they try to cover up and say, oh, $15 million was actually invested. Huh? Sounds familiar. Okay. Yeah. So integration of millennium in teams and the management. You put a group of engineers together, and you put a group of IT guys together. You put a group of business guys together, and ask them to go through a brainstorming session. Which team will be like ready, going through a hot discussion? You put the group of project management and engineering guys together. Sorry, your background is engineer. But you know what? For them, it's mathematics, numbers. By the discipline, I'm not blaming individual. By the discipline, they are like that, analytical. They won't assume things fast. They cannot. They have to. People have to justify. People have to, really speak up and say, prove to them. Only then they will accept. Okay. So then that's another area that we investigate. Now, what about the supply chain area? I know some of you are doing research on supply chain. Okay. This supply chain is very dear and close to me. Okay. And this is my area. Well, a lot of things has evolved in supply chain. Okay. People are talking about, digitalization of supply chain. How do you take supply chain into the digital environment? Okay. Retail vendor relationship benchmark studies. What is the benchmark study today? Retail and vendors. Vendors, not suppliers, vendors and retailers. Okay, what's the benchmark today? How is their performance measured? Global sourcing and trade management benchmark report. How is the global sourcing happening here? Big companies, in late 90s, they say, oh, we want to have centralized sourcing. After that, early 2000, oh, we want to go decentralized sourcing. And then back again, late 2010, oh, we go back to centralized sourcing. Common phenomenon. Centralized, then decentralized, and then again centralized back. Keep on changing, right? Why is it dynamic? Why is it so dynamic? Why is it not static? Why things has to change? So this is interesting to explore and see why. What causes the change, right? Supply integration. Okay, talking about your upstream suppliers in the upstream. So how do you integrate with suppliers? Right? And the benefits of distributor order management is in retail outlets. So these are all the areas that you can look at as far as supply chain, the areas, the topics. For those of you who are interested in supply chain. Okay. Now, let us look at writing the problem statement. Okay. Before we could move to the writing the problem statement, let's look at these paragraphs. Right? These paragraphs. Read through these. Okay. Now let me give you to writing problem statement. Assuming that you already made a choice of your topic, okay, research topic, choice already made, and the discipline you already made a choice, okay. Now how do you look and zoom into writing a problem statement? Okay. Students write problem statement, they write 5 pages, 10 pages. Reading through the 5 pages, 10 pages, even multiple times, supervisors still cannot see where the problem statements are. You know why? They write it more of a descriptive. They just describe these phenomena, these happening, blah 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 blah, and then they stop there. That's not the way. It's an easy technique. Easy technique, I'm telling you. Look at this. From here up to here, it is just describing what is happening. It is just description. Describing what is happening. What is the phenomena? The phenomena is about complexity. So as a student, then how do you write the problem statement? Look at the next sentence. Very simple. Thus, there is a substantial potential for study. How and why complexity might impact my study. You see that? Now, this is the last one sentence which is missing in student work. Based on my observation, my experience, I'm telling you. They're good. They can write 10 pages, 5 pages. But what I need is just 1 page, that's all. And what I need is the last sentence in the 1 page. That's all I want. That's all we want. That's what supervisors want. What are you trying to explain by describing that? You put a clean description. Good, very good, very nice, well written. But end of the day, what do you want to do? What are you trying to study? This one last sentence missing. In my experience, through my experience, I can tell you, easily 60-70% of students will miss this one sentence. Just because missing this one sentence, the supervisor says, your problem statement is not good. Go back, do it again. You get frustrated. Because you feel you have done a great job. Yes, true, I admit. You've done a great job. You spent burning your candles. Yes, it's true. But at the end of the day, you're not saying what you are trying to investigate. You're just describing and describing and describing up to 5-10 pages. The problem statement is not clear. Okay? So, if you read from here to here, conceptual studies different. Empirical studies and conceptual studies are different. Conceptual study means just concept to me, no evidence collected. That's called conceptual. Conceptual studies that propose negative relationship between supply-based complexity and certain aspects of performance like transaction cost, supply innovativeness, supply risk, blah blah blah. This is what conceptual studies have done on complexity, trying to address the complexity. Again, it is conceptual, no empirical. However, the effect of complexity on performance has not yet been examined in detail. There isn't a research paper that has studied in detail. In particular, efficiency and responsiveness aspect. Again, there are two variables coming in. There are two variables being injected here. Efficiency and responsiveness, two variables coming in. Don't worry about the word, later you will understand. Aspects of supply chain have not been examined through rigorous empirical work. Yeah, there's some empirical work, but not rigorous. Maybe a case study, not a full empirical. Academic researchers and practitioners have started recognizing the problem. Academicians and industry guys recognize that this is the problem, that is studying the complexity. What is the complexity all about? And what is the connection of complexity to the responsiveness? Yeah, they address this problem. Okay? Thus, there is a substantial potential. Therefore, hence, or thus, you can use this word. Therefore, hence, thus, there is a need, there is a serious need, okay, to investigate on the supply chain complexity and its relationship to efficiency and responsiveness. Yes? So the last one sentence is absolutely important. Once you finish the sentence, do not continue writing anything on problem statement. Just stop that. Some students got a tendency after that, again they continue writing some more. Cannot, no. You must have a stop, right? Don't continue writing some more, then you're confusing. You're confusing yourself. So finish that one sentence, finish, close, sorry, that's it. And you go very clear to your supervisor. Your supervisor says, hey, what's the problem statement? Oh, well, my problem statement, I've given you the description, blah, 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 blah. All the areas, finally, this is what I'm investigating. And in your Viva session, 100% the examiners will ask you, what is the problem statement in your study? What are you trying to investigate in your study? This question, Viva, will definitely they'll ask you. You don't be angry and say, how did you written there? Why you someone ask me? That's the job of the examiner. He has to ask you. Professor, isn't it? Sometimes I look, when I ask questions, then the student will be like, looking at me, I know what the student is trying to say. How did written there, clearly written? Somehow why you want to ask me? But it's the job of the examiner to ask, to confirm that that work is beyond your work. Yeah. And during the time, don't open back your book and then read. Don't do that. It should be like just coming up. It's not difficult, right? The last one sentence, right? And the study will investigate the importance of blah, blah, blah. So that last one sentence really means a lot for your problem statement. Yeah, any questions? Yes.
When we think yes, like this something has not been
Okay. For the purpose of the class, I have stated here that how the effect blah 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 has not yet been examined in detail. But when you write, you must put citations for that, references. Otherwise, they say you pluck from the sky. Yeah, you must have citations, evidence to prove. Okay. The best is look for newspaper articles, recent one, government publication. Okay, or you read some research work, they say future research, right? The last in the journal they put, right? Future study, right? Pick from there. Okay. Now the next one. Yes. I'll come to this. Okay, I'm still talking about problem statement. Okay. Now let's look at the second one. Read the second one. Anyway, BTO stands for build to order supply chain. BTO, build to order supply chain. Okay, now that's true. Now from here up to here, it's just describing about the supply chain performance, specifically in build to order, like Michael Dell's model, right? And then you find that this guy has claimed that limited research has been done, and then there's another author claiming that attention should be more on risk. Okay, so these are describing. And then look at the last word. Hence, the primary purpose of this study is to explore, okay, the supply chain performance in terms of build to order. Okay. So again, I repeat, the last sentence is the most important one when you're writing a proposal. Okay. Now with that, let's go through the case study that you have. Okay. Now we've got 7 cases there. Okay, so we have got 7 cases. Case 1, cloud computing is IT related. Case 2, development information IT related. Case 3, cloud computing IT related. Case 4, green supply chain management, those who are interested in supply chain area. Okay. Case 5 is those who are interested in logistics, humanitarian logistics. Case 6, those who are interested in business, that is the strategic role of information knowledge and technology, manufacturing industry performance. Case 7 is again innovation, that is business related. So we have got 3 cases in IT related, and we have 2 in logistics, 1 in supply chain, 1 in logistics, and 2 in business. So we got 7. So can I just have the cluster? Cluster of IT, cluster of business, and cluster of logistics, and so on. Then we can start the discussion. Okay. Now, what is required from you is this is the description part of it. I've described. Try to read and understand, digest the description well, and then I want you to write the problem statement. Okay. What is the real problem statement? Okay. So, assuming this is the description all done, so you have to write the 1 or 2 sentences, the last. Okay, especially I want to read through the last sentence. Okay, so discuss, have a brainstorm with your group, and then come up with the last sentence, or 1 or 2 sentences, possible. All right. So can I know all those? Please raise your hand. Those IT based. Okay, recognize each other. Okay, recognize your clusters. Okay, so you all sit down. Maybe you all can take the, maybe you all can sit over here, this corner here, the IT base. Okay, go to logistics and transport. Raise logistics and transport. Okay, okay, for you guys, maybe you all can sit, this corner. Now for those business. Oh, it's a bigger group, huh? Okay, I suggest a bigger group. So what you do, you sit over here, group 1 and group 2. So the logistics go over there, IT, logistics, and this row is business. Okay, group 1 and group 2. So you take 2 different cases. Huh? Okay, please organize yourself for the discussion.
Okay, for the business group, if we are taking case 6 here, then we use this 1, 2, 3. For case 7, if you are interested to do case 7, then here. And then like 6 and 7. And there are 2 different cases there.
For those who don't have a cluster, you want to join, feel free, you can join any group. Okay? You can join any group. Okay, it's up to you.
You're qualified to IT and business. You can join either.
Can we have supply chain and business?
Because only I go to the logistics side.
So I should put that.
Yeah. So,
Case 7 here, yeah, which is the invention. Can turn around the chair. You can appoint the coordinator.
so the logistics
I'm supply chain, so
logistics and supply chain, don't join them. Lisa, maybe you want to join them.
yes, I'm coming.
Hello. Okay. I suggest once you form up your group, you appoint or you select a coordinator and coordinate, and then we intend to present at about 2:30. About 2:30. So that once we finish, then we have lunch, and then we come back at 2:30. We do the presentation on the this is problem statement, isn't it? Just a problem statement. Okay, for this group, then we just select one team leader, whatever it is, to coordinate so that the discussion can be in orderly. What about you? What's your name? Okay.
You guys can just
Okay, Doctor, can you? That's 6. Case 6, that is on the role of information knowledge and technologies on the other side. This is the business model innovation. Can I also remind you, before we go off for lunch afterward, for those who have collected the file, to make payment to Sarah. So Sarah will be over there. Yeah, just make the payment for the file before we go off at 12 after the discussion. The decision already been done. So there is a need to. So there is a opportunity to study on. Okay. All right. You can do it here. Then there is the need to explore the they are area of problem. You need to provide solution yet. You have to solve first. Later on, you will find the solutions. Okay, guys, we target to complete end the discussion at 12, so that about 10 minutes from now, so that for the booking people they can go for the prayer, then we come back before 2:30 for the presentation by each group. Our friend here, are you listening? Yes. So explore. Yeah. So, you see a multi-direction. So it's a model. Because everybody is serving something. Come from the everybody.